the late night comedians are continuing to melt down. Some people are standing up against tyranny in California. The race baiting has kicked into hyper overdrive, if you can believe that. What is up? My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back. This, of course, is the epicenter for all of your current and captivating coastal elite chaos. So please hit that subscribe button, like the video, ring the notification bell, leave a comment or two, share this with a friend. Let's go. All right, first up in the lightning round, 14 Bay Area overpass sites fail safety inspections. Now, you might be thinking that's because bums and junkies have been living under there and setting things on fire, but you would be wrong. Those are right-wing talking points, too much Fox News for you. This is actually because of climate change, and Gavin Newsom, I'm sure, will fix the problem of the highways and the weather with just a little bit more money. Then, in New York, dramatic confrontation between migrants. New York City cops ends with one booted from Randall's Island shelter, or what you could say is the migrants have attacked the cops once again. But it makes sense because some people, Democrats and Republicans included, want to allow migrants into the military with the Courage to Serve Act. And I guess that makes sense as well because San Francisco has appointed its first non-citizen to serve on the Elections Commission. And I also think some high school girls basketball team forfeited a game after they were tossed around like rag dolls by some beautiful, brave, stunning young they-thems, or I guess they weren't they-thems, they were she's, who knows, doesn't matter. Here we are once again in the California school system. We just had the story of woke kindergarten, which was paid $250,000 only to destroy the school even further. Now that contract was ended and the faculty member who spoke out against it was put on leave. But now California teacher suing Newsom says gender policy forced her to teach students to, quote, live a double life. And I guess this is a step in the right direction. People are constantly coming out against this stuff, but there are no adults in charge, right? You can sue Newsom, to some crooked, corrupt judge who's going to say, oh, well, you should cut the junk off that kid anyway. Use the proper pronouns, or your kid belongs to us now. Nobody's going to help you. Okay, I guess there's a late night comedian section now. And as we know, The Daily Show brought back Jon Stewart to restore a tiny bit of sanity to the show, but the left, the establishment, they hated it because he had jokes for both sides. Oh, we can't have that. And I don't know, I didn't watch it. It probably wasn't funny at all, but Jon Stewart has since made a joke about the people angry about him making jokes. So I guess we are going in the right direction, but they absolutely hate to see this. You can parrot 99 out of 100 talking points, but if you miss one, then they will throw you under the bus. So it looks like Stewart, as compromised as he might be, he is not fully in the bag. He is not completely controlled. He is not completely brainwashed. And that's just how low the bar has gotten. But we will see that the same cannot be said for other late night comedians. Then we have John Oliver offers Clarence Thomas $1 million per year if he resigns from the Supreme Court. Now, I'm sure he would say it's just a joke because I guess he's a comedian, but it also goes without saying, I'll say it anyways, John Oliver is not American. So he's weaseled his way into American politics and is now taking a stance against a black man, which is just more proof that this is not about race at all. And I've said it 100 times, but they should take a little bit more pride in the fact that they care far more about the content of people's characters and willingness to bow to the mob than they do about their skin color. In more late night host losing it, completely melting down, another man who I guess calls himself a comedian, just has a total episode live on TV, I suppose, and you can see me in the comments there. I think this is probably the funniest thing he's ever done.
I know how numb we've become, but it's not normal. No other candidate for the presidency has ever had to pause his campaign to defend himself in multiple courts.
Okay, And again, not to be superficial or hyperbolic about it, but it's pretty clear. I mean, this guy is aging like milk. The same thing with Carlos Mencia, I think, was on CNN talking about Orange Man bad. And there is something about this weirdo, agenda-driven leftism that turns these people into absolute, I mean, trolls, right? Like, literally, they do troll accounts. And I've had so many back and forths with people on Instagram who block me, or they're not allowed to be mentioned in the comments. So they throw these grenades, but then they don't want the reply, which we all know why. But dude, you look absolutely terrible. And he's talking about, oh, this has never happened. No presidential candidate has ever fought so many cases. When what you should be saying is, we've never tried to tear somebody down so vehemently than Donald Trump for some strange reason.
And I would like to point out that in all 7 of his cases, no one doubts that he did these things.
No, false. What planet is this man on? In all 7 of his cases. So in an election year, you guys are throwing lawsuits at him left and right. They're all clearly fraudulent. They came at the same time. They're all crooked, corrupt lawyer politicians. It's a complete scam, quite clearly. But what planet are you on that you think in all of these cases, every single person believes he's guilty? What are you talking about, bro? Does he really mean this? Does he live in the bubble? Is he that deep in that he has no idea that right outside of his bubble, most people don't buy it one single bit?
We're just sitting around patiently waiting to find out if the wheels of justice will grind fast enough for there to be any consequences. And the media is covering it like it's any other political story, like it's all horse race. I know.
Dude, this guy is completely pathetic. And I guess he actually believes this. It looks like, I mean, either that, I can't imagine he's that good of an actor. So he gets half credit for at least believing the nonsense he's spewing, rather than some people who clearly don't buy it at all, but they sell it anyways to try to manipulate and control people. And if he actually believes this, which it seems like he does, what is at stake for him? Why is he so desperate? He is willing to go on television and completely embarrass himself to let you know that Orange Man bad? Here's a story from NBC News. New program works to boost number of black cardiologists. And, okay, fine, but we just did this with the airplanes. The doors are flying open. You guys are doing TikTok dances. It's all about diversity and inclusion, which, sure, maybe there should be some more black cardiologists, but why are you trying to force this? Why are you trying to put a square peg into a round hole constantly? You don't want more women in the NBA or more white people in the NBA. I mean, the list goes on, right? Hypocrisy is the point. But why are they doing this? If you want to be a cardiologist, go be a cardiologist. Why are you not trying to weasel your way into every single industry? And I mean, as dark as it sounds, right? When you have diversity and inclusion hires in the airline industry, and now you have diversity and inclusion hires in the medical field, it kind of seems to me like they want people to die.
How are you doing? Good.
Dr. Mary Branch has spent a decade learning one of the most challenging specialties in medicine. Hours in the hospital and clinic to become a cardiologist. And she's in a rare group, female black cardiologists.
Cardiology is not only challenging from a learning perspective.
Yeah, okay. What is this really about? And who is this for? Right? I mean, there's a little black girl out there somewhere who had no interest in being a cardiologist or going into the medical field at all, but then she sees this story and realizes that, yes, that's what I want to do. I guess so, but we've gone too far, right? You've cried wolf too many times, so it now seems completely disingenuous. And for the record, are we really to believe that this is her hair, right? I mean, we constantly hear about systemic racism and cultural appropriation. You can't change your race, but you can certainly change your gender. Whose hair is this, lady? I mean, who's believing this? What is this about?
It's just physically very, very hard. You're dealing with life and death scenarios on a consistent basis.
The specialty can be hard for anyone, but for Branch, it goes past just medicine. She wants to be there for her community. A recent study shows that just 3% of all cardiologists in the U.S. are African American.
Yeah, okay. Well, you should do that for every single industry and do all the breakdowns for every profession in the country. And it should all be I mean,
I'm triggered.
lady, you're pushing it. It seems very disingenuous, and this is almost as crazy as Donald Glover being hit with claims of misogynoir. There was a point in time when you had to be a biologist to even understand what a woman was, but now we all know what a woman is, obviously, duh. And this from Medical Express says, study finds women more likely than men to suffer from long COVID. Okay. First, you didn't know what a woman was. Then it was a woman's right to choose. Then women suffer more from long COVID. And this is obviously just more of them trying to, gauge their voters. Because if you believe this, if you believe that Dr. Admiral Rachel Levine in an army suit tells you that the air is racist and you believe that long COVID is more, none of it makes any sense.
This doesn't make any sense.
But if you're willing to jump through those hoops, then you're more likely to press the button for Democrats, I suppose. Long COVID, give me a break. We just had the other story of the CDC is thinking about changing its, isolation guidelines in 2024. Why are you still doing this? Well, we know why they're still doing this, but I'm hoping, I am faithful, I'm praying that a lot of people are no longer buying this. And, what about the they-thems? Are the men who are wearing lipstick in a dress, are they more likely to get long COVID? Actually, they probably are. And if for some reason you were just all Rona out, you got a little fatigue, you don't care about Rona or long Rona, if you just had enough of that, then the WHO director, who I spoke briefly about before, wants you to know that the disease X will get you, and it's not a matter of if, but when. My senses tell me that it's probably going to be around September or October. So we got long COVID, we got disease X, we got black cardiologists. And why would you need more cardiologists? Is it because you force pharmaceuticals on people that may or may not be agreeing with their system, shall we say? And I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I think those things are all basically just saline. But there's a contingent of people who are claiming that the forced pharmaceuticals are having adverse effects. Now, I don't know. Couldn't be me. Never needed it. Wasn't sick. Didn't matter. And, let's just remember how insane that got with Bill de Blasio, offering you a cheeseburger and a donut, and Andrew Cuomo even before that saying that the mask was all about respect. Well, I thought it was about keeping yourself and the people around you safe, but he claims it was about respect and didn't even realize, I guess, that was completely negating his initial argument. All that aside, different point. If you are tired of Rona, don't worry, because disease X is going to get you, and if that doesn't get you, I'm sure the sun monster will be here soon too. And here's a clip from Ethan Schmidt, who went viral a couple years ago, and I think this particular clip is old. He was off social media, but it looks like he's back. He's posting a bunch of old clips, I believe. But when you have the crazy people pushing disease X and long Rona and mask and forced pharmaceuticals and stuff, and then you have a guy like this, right? And even some, common sense people who were never on board with the Rona hysteria will just say, well, this is way too much. Why would you do this? And I tend to disagree, because there were people out there who were extreme in their belief that you would kill them if you didn't wear a mask. They wanted to call the cops on you. They kicked you out of Applebee's. You couldn't go to the gym. You couldn't do anything. You were shunned from society if you didn't obey with all of the madness that they were foisting upon people. So when Rona skeptics say this was too far, think about for one split second the people who were ready, willing, and able to have you ousted, jailed, and perhaps even worse. There was an article from some woman who said, I think it was the LA Times, which of course went through loads of layoffs, different story, but she said, well, is it mean to mock the deaths of Rona skeptics? Yes, but we should do it anyway, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Not the point. My point is, this is what we should have been doing the entire time. This was the way to push back, because they were extreme. Same thing with the MAGA hat. They were so extreme, right? Oh, you're going to kill grandma. You can't go to Trader Joe's. There's an arrow on the floor. What are you talking about? All of that stuff happened because we weren't being mean enough, in my opinion.
Do you guys believe in COVID?
Yeah, I do.
Do you
I've
believe
had
in-
it, so you can stop right now.
Do you believe in
I
Jesus?
almost died.
And there you go. I've had it, right? So they always say something, oh, well, my uncle or my nephew's sister or whatever. They always come up with something that cannot be disputed. Well, yeah, I know somebody. Yeah, okay, lady. That's always the case. And it wouldn't be the case if they weren't running these scare tactics on television non-stop. For years, there was a death ticker. And I would bet there's no way to know now, but you would not have people saying, oh, wow, what's happening out here? People are dropping like flies around me. It's because they were on TV, they were on social media, they were not touching grass. I, of course, did, and I published a book about what New York City looked like in 2020. You should go ahead and buy that. But if it weren't for the media scaring people into absolute submission, we wouldn't get this. And if we had more people like Ethan pushing back, and it's not for everybody. It is a little bit of an extreme way, but we needed that because they wouldn't have hesitated to do that to you either. And you'll notice here in this clip that she does not believe in Jesus. That is a bridge too far. It's make-believe, but she will wear a mask around Walmart.
Died from COVID. You can leave me alone now.
Do you believe in Jesus?
You can. No, I don't. Go away.
What do you say that COVID's a new religion?
Go away.
You guys are part of the new
You
religion.
are harassing me. I can call the police and have you arrested for harassment.
I mean, are you kidding? Right? Like, if this is what constitutes harassment, sure. I was harassed several times for walking around in a bookstore in Brooklyn without a mask. And none of that would have happened if more people were like this. And look at her eyes. And look at her husband. They've completely submitted. They do not know what's going on.
First Amendment.
Harassment. You are harassing me. I
Free
asked
speech.
you repeatedly to leave me alone.
Turn around
I
and walk
asked
away.
you
Turn
repeatedly.
around and walk
I
away.
was standing here. You can go now, or
Guy's
I'm calling the
obviously
cops.
an idiot, so let's go.
You guys believe in COVID? It's a hoax.
Why don't you go away? You have no right to
That
attack
us?
me.
Yeah, us on your phone.
Whoa.
She says you have no right to attack me, and then her husband physically attacks him. But these people live in the backwards, bizarro clown world, and they have no relationship to reality. In more complete detachment from reality news from BuzzFeed, and I think they ran this already. They go a couple years and then just rerun the same story again to double down on the agenda. But they say 6 privileged phrases that white people say without realizing it. So this is just further proof that the game is rigged. So you can say these things, you cannot mean it, you cannot realize it, but it's still really racist. It's ridiculous. And the first one is, it's not my job to fix racism because I'm not racist. And for whatever reason, they choose to put a man in a MAGA hat and a MAGA hoodie who looks to be, I can't tell from this photo, but he looks to be sort of brown or something. But that's probably just internalized racism, right? A lot of Latinos and Cubans down in Florida, they're a little bit too conservative. They're fleeing communism, but that is the Latino face of white supremacy. Then there's, I don't see color, right? So that's racist. But you better believe if you did see color, that too would be racist because you can't win. Number 3, there's no need to worry about the police if you're not doing anything illegal. And they put a little picture here of Breonna Taylor, I guess. And we know by now that all of these things are a hoax, right? And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that all the cops are perfect. But when you have cities like Oakland or New York that are completely collapsing, but somehow, some way, these corrupt lawyers, judges, all that stuff, find a way. They find a way to blame the cops. And that makes all of your other arguments completely illegitimate. So it's racist to say you don't need to worry about police if you're not doing anything illegal. And again, in my experience in New York City, almost all of the cops I've ever dealt with have been people of color. Number 4, I don't want to post about racism on social media because I'm scared of the backlash. So you just wanting to stay out of it is also considered racist. They also conveniently ignore what I believe to be the most damning statement by Bo Jiden himself, that, of course, you ain't black. That doesn't matter. You should be posting on, you should post your black square. Otherwise, you're a racist. Number 5, I don't have white privilege. So not posting on social media saying you don't have white privilege. You might be living in a trailer under the Bay Bridge somewhere, shooting up, but you still have white privilege. And if you even mention the idea that you don't, that too is considered racist. And again, they have this ages-old photo of Colin Kaepernick on the field for some strange reason. Number 6, I'm not sure when I should start talking to my kids about racism. Okay, I mean, you really don't have to do it ever, right? I mean, so am I supposed to believe that a white parent saying to their friend about their kids, we're not sure when we're going to start telling them that the entire world is racist and that we're actually a product of racism and our ancestors owned slaves? What are you even talking about? This is ridiculous. This is the soft bigotry of low expectations. And the old photo of Colin Kaepernick and the old photo of the guy in the MAGA hat lead me to believe, and the old photo of Breonna Taylor there, but all those old pictures lead me to believe that this article posted on February 7th, 2024 is just recycled from probably a decade ago. But the point here is the game is rigged. You can't win, because if you said any of those things, you're racist, even though you didn't mean to, even though you didn't realize it's kind of like a microaggression. But if you also did any of those things, that too would be considered racist, I promise you. And here is the queen of racism, Joyless Orwell Reed, if you needed more proof that it's not actually about race, right? I mean, I just don't understand. You should be more upfront about the fact that you are more enthusiastic about the content of people's character and their willingness to obey the mob. They don't want to talk about B. Tatum or Candace Owens, or they do. Justice Clarence Thomas, they hate him. That guy out in North Carolina or South Carolina, Mark Robinson, they don't like him. But it's quite clearly not about race. It is about the fact that certain people are still obeying. But even them, right? The rappers are ditching Democrats left and right. But I digress. My point here is you got Joyless Orwell Reed, the queen of race baiting, from her ivory tower. She is a millionaire. She is wearing a Donald Trump wig, but she wants you to know that everything is still racist.
To be a black person in 2024 in America is to.
But you're a puppet. You're not even really a black person. You're just a puppet, right? Raking in millions of dollars, telling other people that everything is racist. But I'm getting triggered.
Be in a state of complete perplexed confusion about what is wrong with a country that hates your
You're what's wrong. It's you. It's people like you, Joy.
History, to this day can't admit even the basics of what was done to your ancestors.
That's just, okay. This is very hard to get through even less than a minute. But who is denying the history, right? I can agree that all of human history has been called into question over the past, 4 or so years, because they're lying to us. So there's deep rabbit holes all over the place. But for her to say that people just don't want to admit what happened is completely wrong. It's not completely wrong. It's you. It's you who do not want to admit what's actually happening. It's you who go on TV and defend weirdo sexual books for kids. It's people like you. And I guess she's wearing this wig just to get a rise out of people.
Ancestors can't accept any responsibility for the lack that has carried through the entirety of the existence of you in this country and think 60 years of relative freedom is enough. And to find out that literally Barack Obama's 2 terms as president are your reparations, and Juneteenth, which you already celebrated anyway, is
false. Nobody celebrated Juneteenth until Trump randomly, and I'm sure he did not do this. I'm not sure. Maybe Donald Trump planned to have a rally on Juneteenth to spite the black people. That's probably what happened. But who are we kidding, Joyless? Nobody was celebrating Juneteenth. Even after all of your hoopla about it, still nobody's doing it. I dare you to go out there and find a Juneteenth party where it was happening in Atlanta, it's happening in Oakland, it's happening in New York City, where people are having a Juneteenth BBQ. And she's pretending that people already celebrated that. Yeah, and then they were also celebrating Kwanzaa.
Is your reparations, and yet you built this country. You literally physically built this country.
Yeah, a lot of people built the country, Joy. I mean, we'll have to play this one more time so you can hear it without me interjecting every 1.5 seconds. But yeah, okay, black people built the country. Sure. A lot of people built the country. Who built the railroads, Joy?
And yet the attitude toward you from a lot of your peers and your fellow citizens is just shut up and be grateful.
Yeah, that's you. I mean, Bo Jiden literally said, I can't harp on this enough. It's sticking with me, and it will forever. But is telling a millionaire radio host that he's not black if he doesn't vote for him, is that not pretty similar to saying just shut up and be grateful? What am I missing? And this is a little bit older, but from evil, awful NBC News, right? So you have joyless Orwell Reed constantly race baiting and claiming that, oh, they're telling us to just shut up while we're trying to celebrate Juneteenth. And it doesn't matter that Bo Jiden said you ain't black. It's because of people like this. And this man, along with joyless Reed, right? They are evil operatives. They're not stupid teenagers protesting in the street. But he says, Rep. Jim Clyburn helped Biden win young black voters in 2020. This time, they're not listening. So this is them, I guess, coming to the realization that black people aren't quite as stupid as they once thought we were. Well, there you have it. Joyless Orwell Reed calling everything racist, which I guess is par for the course at this point. But she is turning it up a little bit because she got to sell a book. If she were smart, she would just lob 30-year-old accusations of The late night comedians are continuing to melt down. Some people are standing up against tyranny in California. The race baiting has kicked into hyper overdrive, if you can believe that. And as much as the migrants continue to cause absolute chaos, I took it kind of easy on them today. So, all that said, here's a funny clip.
Myself, and then I'm gonna walk down the aisle. What, Larry? What are you doing here?
The door was ajar.
You're the one that put this in her head?
What?
What is your agenda, man?
I didn't do anything.
Of course, he just shows up, too. Out of nowhere. You're here now.
Was ajar. You left the door ajar.
You have no business weighing in on this wedding, okay?
It's completely his fault, but...
I just look, you're a beautiful bride. You should be a bride.
I'm the groom. I don't want to be the bride.
You're not grooming. She's not bridey. You know.
How is it appropriate for you to have an opinion about this?
Well, because I know her. She gave me a haircut. She charged a lot of money for me, by the way.
What kind of psychopath interferes with the nuances of a lesbian wedding?
Hey, I saw wrong and tried to right it. That's all. That's what Ted Kennedy said about Robert Kennedy at his funeral. I'm like Robert Kennedy.
You know what's not Robert Kennedy-ish? Wandering into people's homes and spouting nonsense.
Oh, okay. Well, don't leave the door ajar.
Stop saying ajar!
Okay.
What is really going on here? Do you need a hobby?
Not a terrible idea. You're right about that. That's a good idea. I just can't seem to find the motivation. You know, when I was a kid, I would collect butterflies. I would go in the park. I had a net, and I would use the net. I cannot tell you how much satisfaction there is in trapping a butterfly in a net and
I didn't expect you to
putting that
actually
net over
answer.
the park.
I didn't expect an actual answer to that question.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about him. It doesn't matter about him. I just want you to be happy. I want us to have a successful wedding and a successful life.
Fantastic.
I'll do anything you want.
I want to be the groom. You waited too long. That's everything I need to know.
No.